if you happen to be a smaller organization or maybe a nonprofit considering enlisting the services of a marketing agency for fear you're potentially missing the social media boat, please listen to this first. So why do big corporations like GM, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's do it? Do the social media in the first place? Well, it's cheap, relatively speaking. It's easy, or perceived as easy, because it's done in-house. Which brings up a third point: you can cut out the middleman, or an ad agency, or an integrated marketing agency. It's a lot like Marxism, I like to say. It looks superb on paper. In reality, it fails, whether for good or for bad. Procter & Gamble will learn this lesson. They offer predominantly lower price point household items to the retail consumer, which is way different than $20,000 or $30,000 automobiles like GM. So it might take a little bit longer for them to waste money on their social media marketing, but they'll still learn their lesson. The main theme is this: your target customer does not subscribe to social media for various things. Now, it's fun and games on the web, just like it was 20 years ago when I was a teenager with Prodigy and then later AOL, meaning chat rooms, picture trading, interaction with other people. It was fun. It's not the venue for massive sales campaigns. Lots of self-proclaimed experts and book authors say otherwise. It's the end-all be-all in the digital age. You know they're wrong. Just like you knew banks were wrong with huge media campaigns less than a decade ago, encouraging consumers to buy their dream homes with interest-free and adjustable rate mortgages because it was free money and it was the new age we were living in. Ask Viacom how buying MySpace for $500 million worked out and how many people were fired over that waste. Trends are the wave of the future. My generation loves to tout, and I'm in my early 30s. Okay? David Ogilvy used to say he knew far more CEOs willing to pay millions for another successful product line instead of launching his own, because most new products fail. It costs millions and millions to introduce and perpetuate new brands. Now, a lot of chief marketing officers will be canned, and CEOs will have hell to pay with the board when cheap digital ad planning disappoints. Again, it looks appetizing on paper. That's in theory. Maybe you recognize this quote: "I don't throw darts at a bored kid." That's a line from Gordon Gekko in Wall Street in '87. You still need good advertising, but it's got to be ultra-targeted in offline and online channels. And soft selling and educating your audience is not going to sell enough to be profitable. Sustainable, that is. It's the difference between web analytics, meaning someone listening to this podcast, you likely have an employee that tracks web page popularity and bounce rates versus the only statistic which really matters: conversions. Whether you're engaged in e-commerce and customers purchase online, or it's just a prospect moving towards the next step in the buying cycle by opting for a meeting or a brochure. I once knew a financial planner who bought that brand because of popular opinion. In about 2007 and 8, this guy and I met at a trade show for financial services. Many of the business books out there prescribe content marketing. You know they're wrong half the time. This financial planner went bankrupt, lost his house and his wife, because he used to go on and on and on with prospects, providing information as if he were a professor at UCLA. If your prospect wants a lecture or to be educated on whether it's the principles of financial planning or whatever specialty business you're in that you're an expert on, she will go to UCLA and sign up for a class. So Procter & Gamble will learn its lesson eventually, but not before its marketing specialists are fired. General Motors realized Twitter and Facebook mostly consist of the general public using free software to act like children on there. They don't have any money to buy Cadillacs. Quick story, and then I'm about to wrap up. In 2010, Nissan Motors rolled out a social media campaign for its sport utility vehicle, the Juke. I was one of about 7 writers invited to Miami Beach for a test drive and an interview with the brand manager in exchange if I would write a review for a popular blog I was managing at the time. Nissan Autos is a pretty famous global brand, yes? After this podcast, look up Corey Weiner Juke or Corey Weiner Nissan car review or Corey Weiner Nissan. You won't find my review on any substantial web pages except maybe my own blog, which no one reads anymore anyway. Why? Because no one on social media doing blogging and tweeting has any money to buy fancy cars, and that campaign was terminated, and fast. That whole campaign for Nissan with the social media roadshow. You probably didn't even hear of it. If you're engaged in activities like business-to-business marketing or selling subscriber-based software applications or technology or retained consulting services, you have learned from 2 huge global organizations that market research is one thing, okay? The head of Coca-Cola was featured in Harvard Business Review a couple of months back, explaining social media's role in real-time market research collection a few issues ago. Market research is one thing. I worked for Nielsen for nearly 5 years. It was my first job. I understand market demographics and research plenty. But education and soft selling can be disastrous, contrary to the hype about content marketing because it's cheap and easy and free. This is Corey for Teeth Marketing Communications. For questions, comments, a brochure about my writing business, writing for businesses like yours in a handful of specialty industries, contact teethmarcom.com or by phone anytime at 805-722-8340. Stay tuned for my next podcast where I'll be addressing how media giant AOL rose to prominence in the mid-1990s with the direct response approach I've just summarized in this presentation. Bye-bye.
I'm over the whole my passion is fill in the blank. In the last few years, as I've become more marketing and media savvy, I hear a lot of people on their website and in person when you meet them in the era of self-help and everyone's a speaker and everyone's an expert on everything, tell you I'm passionate. I use the word passion. I'm passionate. I have a passion. Even famous business leaders will get interviewed by CNBC or CNN or something and say, well, I'm passionate about this. I think it's a crock. Most people that I come in contact with, they'll make up some story about their passion is XYZ. They're misguided. I think it sounds compelling. Oh, I'm passionate about. True passionate people do things for no ROI, no profit. So it's not, well, I'm passionate about helping people, but for a fee. You have to buy what I'm selling, or you have to hire me to speak. True passionate people don't capitalize. They're just passionate, right? So then the question becomes, well, Mr. Passion, if God came down and told you were never going to profit from doing this, you're an artist and you sell art outside of coffee shops and you might or might not make a living, but you're passionate. The way I write in my diary and my journal and I write these blogs on economics, this has not been monetized. And people like that. But for the most, when I'm in business, in a capitalist setting, and I hear people, I'm passionate. I want to put people together. I'm passionate. What they mean is I'm an opportunist. They don't have a passion. Their passion is, like most Americans in the latter part of the last century and into this one, is I want to figure out how to be smarter than the next guy and collect a fee without actually producing anything or working all that hard. So I'll be passionate up and down about everything if you'll buy something from me, because I want to give off a positive impression in hopes that you will see sincerity and buy something from me. If people would just come right out and say that, they would be and be candid, I think they would do themselves a favor and stop wasting everyone else's time on the nonsense of I'm passionate. You're passionate for a fee. If you're really passionate, go grow watermelons in Ventura County somewhere. Have a trailer.